my traumatized babies and mentally ill Barbies. Today, a message wants to come out about what we're calling karma. I tend to call this energetic consequence because karma is part of a system that I actually don't know a lot about, but colloquially, we've adopted the word karma to talk about the consequences of our choices and actions. You reap what you sow, what goes around comes around, that sort of thing. And it's not so cut and dry, but if you have been following me at all on any of my social media outlets, you will know that I've been talking about and will likely continue talking about, perhaps maybe for the next 3 years, a particular cycle that is now closing out for a large part of whatever collective that I am addressing. And it's the end of one 7-year cycle, and sort of this 3 years is going to complete the 10-year cycle. And then we're going to go back in. It typically goes 4 years, 7 years, 10 years. And not everybody in the world is, so not everybody on the world is on the 7-year cycle. Some people are on their 4 year, some people are on their 10-year. For this particular collective, it is the 7-year cycle. And I should have known that we were going to go through another peak in this energy, because what is going on for this particular collective is likely the last 7 years of your life, you have somehow made very, very healthy choices for yourself. You've separated yourself from individuals that were not healthy, or they removed themselves from your life through particular means. You got a lot of your life in order. You are managing mental health issues. You are now in your sobriety if you were not in your sobriety before. And you are on the tail end of a lot of major work. This is the wrapping up period for you, the next 3 years, sooner if possible. And that part of the collective is going to be going through a really amazing portion of their life. Just very, very drastically different from what has come before for these people. But what is going on for that part of the collective is that on the outskirts of their energy, out there in deep space, are the people who unfortunately, whether they be family, friends, some sort of relationship, whoever, those are the people who were either left behind or the people who removed themselves. And specifically, these would be people who were making unhealthy choices for themselves, creating a lot of toxicity for them and the people around them. So if this is just something where, we just grew apart, this is not that, okay? These would be people where you look back on it and you go, wow, that was so toxic. How did I not see that at the time? Or, oh my God, these are people that I knew forever and I just didn't see how things had developed between us, maybe until it got really extreme, or maybe until you're just I need to step away. And then once you stepped away, you realized. Or this is even yourself going wow, I can't believe I used to have these behaviors and now I'm a lot better. The people who are not currently within your material range, but who for a fact just continued to make unhealthy choices for themselves, self-harm, harming others, just very, very selfish choices. Those people are now experiencing the ramifications of a lot of their actions. And it'll be actions that they've been taking since long before the last 7 years or however long you knew them. These are people who have likely, unfortunately, experienced stuff when they were young that conditioned them to be a certain way, and then they just never shook it, right? They never dissolved it, they never dislodged it, and it just has led to this path of destruction in their lives. This is the point where it's sort of a couple of things could happen. Whatever rock bottoms that they're hitting right now, it will cause some sort of positive change for these people, and likely the next 3 years may be repairing or getting themselves out of that rock bottom, and then the start of their next 4, 7, 10-year cycle will be the healing work, will be the deep repairing work for them. Okay, that's one way it could go. There's this other way it could go where unfortunately they're just whatever they're experiencing now, because these are kind of like pulsing, like waves of energy that are going to be hitting these people. They're not really hitting you, but you're a part of it because you're connected to them. So you're gonna feel it whenever they get slammed with something. And there's a reason why we're going through another pulse right now. It's showing up in national news. It's very interesting. So whenever they get hit, you're going to feel it. And this hit, if it doesn't push them to rock bottom where they're creating positive change, it could either push them to rock bottom, and unfortunately, not everybody survives these things. Like, that is reality, unfortunately. So we could have some people who pass away or end up with very, very, very serious conditions that are just not going to resolve themselves for a long time, or perhaps these conditions will be permanent for them. That's like the darkest timeline, right? It could also be that these people do not hit their rock bottom with whatever is going on right now, but they in fact go deeper into the unhealthy behaviors, into the harm, whatever they're doing. And if they survive and keep going with it, their next cycle is going to be going deeper, right? Like they just like, we haven't hit bottom yet, so we're going to keep going until we hit bottom. And within the next 7-year cycle, it'll just repeat. It'll just repeat for them. And it's going to repeat and repeat and repeat. It's going to be Groundhog Day until somebody wakes up. So the reason why there's another pulse going on right now, it's because it is going to be kind of like this repetitive thing for like the next 3 years until all of this is shaken off in whatever way it's going to go. Because whichever way it's going, these people are going to fully separate from you and your field, and then you're not going to feel anything from them anymore because you're going to be too far apart. Like those dimensions and timelines are fully going to break. And when they break, that is actually the final, the big energetic release, the tsunami that blasts, y'all forward and them backward, or, forward, depending on what choices they make. So the signal for this, which I didn't make a TikTok video about this yet because there's so much else going on right now. But I should have known that I was going to feel this stuff flare up again because of the Trump indictment. Go back 7 years, right? What was going on with Trump 7 years ago? Did he make positive choices or negative choices? Well, there are now consequences for a long, long road of actions. And, that does not mean that we're going to see actual justice done here, but that step that was taken, that indictment, is in fact a very big deal. And we don't know how things are going to play out, but as a matter of fact, that is connected to, if Trump goes down, that is going to be a major blow for certain energies within that boomer generation, right? That is going to be a big blow for that. And also, if DeSantis does not get elected in, the upcoming presidential elections, that will be the death knell for the boomer energy. That's going to be done for the most part. That is going to be a very drastic hit to their power. That is going to have most of that done or completely on the way out. If DeSantis wins, then it's going to be more of a slow thing, unfortunately. We're likely going to have a decade or more of this nonsense. So, this is the culmination of that 7-year stuff, right? So what I also want to add about that before we start getting into these cards is that when you hear someone start crowing about their manifestations, oh, I successfully manifested, oh, I did this, oh, I did that, check back with that person 4 years later and 7 years later. And 10 years if you want to, but it's really that 7 that's going to get you. Check back with them. How do they feel about their manifestations now? Are their manifestations still in fact there? Did they want them to be there? Or are they not there? Did they in fact create more problems for that person than they solved? So just don't, when you see people make videos about, oh my God, I manifested. And we get really excited about that, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but just follow that person if they are in fact posting videos in perpetuity, right? And see where things take them. Because you can, especially with like people on YouTube and stuff, you can see like people experience this extreme success and then it tends to collapse, right? Because, you know, people are thinking that it's always good, the energy's always going to be that way. I'm always going to be at the top. No, and in fact, if you did shitty things to get where you are, it is likely in some way that energy will be revisited to you, but it is not like an exact thing, right? And in fact, some people don't even recognize that it's happening. They're so deep in the toxicity. So what we're gonna do, we are working with this angel deck, which does have a corresponding demon deck that I don't have. And here's the thing, this read about karma is being asked to come out in a certain way, at least the first part of it. And one of these ways is that we need to get 4 angels, one at the top, one below, one to the left, and one to the right. Now, just because I have these angels out and I don't have the demon deck, does not mean that there is not a corresponding demon that will align with that angel. That is how that works. So I don't have the demon deck, so I can't tell you what demon is anchoring in that particular angelic presence, but it's there. That's all part of a healthy ecosystem when it's in alignment. So let's get our 4 angels because they're going to be stabilizing the space. And then we're going to be using the crone deck to get the initial message. And this initial message, what I'm getting is that this is sort of what's going on in the unmanifest realms, right? This is what's going on spiritually. And then when we turn to the tarot, we're going to be looking at how that's manifesting in the 3 dimensions, in materiality, right? So it's a simultaneous thing, but it's looking one way in one realm and one way in another. Okay, let me get all of these. This was the one that's over here, and this one's over here. Who's at the bottom? We have Vasaria, the star. The healing. Oh, you know, that's really good because that is part of like what I intuitively got. Vasaria, God the just. 32, 3 + 2 is 5. That is a challenging energy, though the star is healing, clemency, and equilibrium. The balance protects against attacks in the courts. Oh, so this is something like if you're feeling these energies, just know it's like there's nothing anybody can do about you feeling certain things, but nothing's going to happen to you energetically, okay? So that's super interesting. And what I want to talk about with that star representative coming out is that even when someone is going through what we would term negative karma, bad consequences, I know it's difficult because all of us go through that at some point. Not all of us have made the right decisions or acted in the appropriate ways at all times of our lives. So most of us have some sort of familiarity with receiving like, ooh, you know, the bad juju. When that happens, it is not so much a punishment as it is like drastic realignment. Bad karma is just meant to get you to wake up to what you're doing wrong and to pull you into a better situation, a better feeling situation. It is a learning experience that ultimately, if you take it that way, will bring you to the greater good for yourself. If you get through it, if you survive it, if you are accountable, if you self-reflect, by the end of that time, you will be in a much better place than you ever have been. So if this is about people going through negative karma, I'm getting a yes, especially if these are people who have wronged you in some way. Most of the stuff that I've been getting about the karma, it's like it's supposed to like help some people with forgiveness work and grief work, but what you want to try not to do, if you're going here, it's okay, but it's sort of like you're going to continually get this message until you step out of this. Try not to delight in someone's bad karma, because if you haven't experienced it, you likely will at some point, Or like you've experienced it before and you know it was just and it brought you to a better place. So maybe hope they get through it. You don't have to like welcome these people back into your lives, but try not to delight in the downfall, right? And like, I know, because I go there myself, right? We get into those spaces where we want bad things to happen to people who we feel hurt us, but it's really it's really pointless, and it's just going to keep you in that rage space longer. So we are here to assist with you letting that go. If you need the messages where people are being petty and delighting in it, then you will receive those messages to help you. If you're receiving these sort of messages when we're in this liminal space, right? We're still kind of hurt. We're not in full forgiveness, but we're trying to get there. We're trying to get ourselves, for our own energy and health and moving into better parts of our own lives. If you need to keep receiving those messages, you will. And then eventually, once you work through all of that, once we do, we will cease receiving these messages. But likely, if you're resonating with what I'm saying, you might end up hearing about these things off and on for the next 3 years as you sort of slough off the rest of this and move into your new space. But just because you've heard me say that, don't think it has to be 3 years for you. It could be 3 days if you really wanted it to be, and you really committed to the letting go process. So, don't think it has to take 3 years. You can get beyond this much sooner than that if you so choose. So let's see who is presiding above us. We have Hariel, the 9 of Swords. Oh dear. But this is the comforting God. 15, 1 plus 5 is 6. So again, balancing out. Purification. Protection from the impious. Religious sentiments. So again, this is acting as protection for y'all, like this insulating energy, the energy that is moving outwards towards that stuff that is on your outer rim orbit. It is protecting you from the impious. And impious in this case is people who are really committed to very, very self-destructive paths, and they really don't care who's getting in their way. So who is below us? We have Umabel, the Ace of Swords. God above all names elevated. 61, that's a 7. Affinity and friendship. Obtain the friendship of anyone. Nice. So the Sword of Truth at the bottom. And what I'm getting from that is, the truth will set you free. Affinity and friendship, obtain the friendship of anyone. For these outer rim energies, there are scenarios where some of them will try to like move back into your field. The only way that they can do that successfully is with truth, honesty, and accountability. To obtain the friendship of anyone, even the people you have harmed, it will require first the Ace of Swords. The Sword of Damocles is actually above them with this 9 of Swords, and then the Sword of Truth is below them. Excalibur. Excalibur is below. Damocles above, Excalibur below. Okay, so who is on our left? Vehuel, the 8 of Wands, the great and exalted God. So we've got 49, so that's 13, that's a 4, that's another stabilizer. Grandeur makes one passionate towards God. So yeah, these sorts of spectacles, for those of you who are theists or spiritual, or don't mind thinking about, things like angels, demons, God, all of that kind of stuff. All of this, bad karma, witnessing the spectacle, understanding these things, it is all meant to drive everyone closer to divine intimacy and appropriate intimate union with those around us, be it family, friends, even strangers on the street. There's an appropriate intimacy with that, a respect, a care that you can give a stranger, a connection that you can make with them, while not, bringing them too close, right? So who is on our right? We have Akahia, the 5 of Pentacles. There's 5. That's a 7, the forbearing God. Patience reveals secrets of nature. Spreads knowledge and industry. So this is the informant, right? For those who are going through this 5 of Pentacles, 9 of Swords, we have the Informer. That is so interesting. We have like the two harsher energies and then the two, like it's on this diagonal. So thank you to all these energies for making themselves known at the moment. We're now going into the Tower of the Crone because it's 4. 4 cards want to come out stabilized by these 4 angels. There's number 1. Now remember, this portion is what's going on in spirituality, the energetic realms, stuff that you're not necessarily going to see unless you know how to look. I knew that card was coming out. I absolutely knew it. This card always comes out when we're talking about karma being put on, inflicted on these people who did shit. If you have not watched it, I'll link it below. Go back and watch The Starstone Beings Are Speaking. You'll see this card come out. Okay. Oh, what? No, but again, this also, the Starstone Beings, the beings who inflict karma are present at the bottom. They are in the underlying, this collective of beings who is bearing witness and also inflicting. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, it is the exact same cards that came out in this Starstone Being reading. The 5 of Discs. Don't really worry about the suits and stuff here, because I tend to read these cards more. Ooh. The Tower. Why am I right, man? Well, maybe we get some ooh. Actually, no, I did not get that from this. All right, let's go through it. What is going on for these unfortunate people right now? They are being squeezed. Whenever the energy constricts down on them, it is just this unrelenting pressure, trying to get them to make some sort of choice, because when people get in these spaces, they are obstructing energetic flow in their own lives and the people around them. It causes problems in the entire system. Yes, just one person. One person's choices do more than you would imagine. It's an interesting paradox how we are specks of dust, but what we do affects all the other specks of dust. So when someone can reverse the polarity, but I am not getting that from this read yet, they can create so much positivity where there was once destruction and negativity. It is possible. But for now, there's the squeeze. And what I'm getting is this is going on in people's heads. Like, it's their mental spaces that are being affected. Disaster is striking these people. Things are crumbling around them. Their own mental health is being demolished. Seriously, this is nasty stuff. It's nasty. And the issue with it is these are consequences of understood actions. These people might not have understood that they might not have understood the ramifications of what they were doing. They might not have understood exactly the gravitas, right? They're just sort of only thinking about themselves. Perhaps now they might know, because this is the result of the entire chain of events to this point. And now here we are. These people are trapped by this. This is a very painful place. And it's due whenever, like, wands, magical things that they did not know that they were doing, but in fact were done. They have created their own prisons. And they're prisons that are on fire and constricting and have spikes in them. And they can't get out. They can't get out until something bursts, something shatters. And then the calm. So, this last card, they can go through this and end up in some sort of reprieve. You know, for the ones who are in fact hitting rock bottom. And with the rock bottom, like that's that 10 of Swords energy, like it's over. It's over. And there's a peace to it, even though it's painful. However, what I'm getting more from this is like this little pathway up here, this portal. This is everyone who was either left by these people or made the decision to leave themselves. This is the collective moving forward and into this little portal right here. Because you haven't fully passed through the portal, that is why you are getting these messages still, because you're on the path, you're just not all the way out yet. That's why you're still feeling other people's energetic consequence. There's nothing you're doing wrong, just continue your letting go process. And in fact, if someone who has gone through this joins you in this truth, in this completely changed energy, can you in fact be in forgiveness and take that person's hand, not in a permanent sort of way. I mean, unless, you know, for some people that will happen. Maybe you will be able to reconcile with a family member, a friend, a partner. It doesn't mean that you're going to have the same relationship, but they may be able to join you in some sort of way, even if that's just, you know, the acknowledgement and still the separation, but we're still going to the same place, right? We can now move into materiality. We don't need to do another pass with these cards. That's what's happening. And I knew it. I knew it. So we're getting 6 cards to start. No, they're saying 3, and then I'm going to be layering. Whoop! So we have the 7 of Wands. So what this is looking like in materiality. Let me just get everything out here. The 7 of Wands. The 8 of Wands. And the Judgment. I just got chills down my back. Unfortunately, there is no getting out of this. How this is looking on materiality is that whatever people, like, because here's the thing, if someone has done something to you, like a harmful thing, I promise you, you are not the first and you are not the last, most likely. It is all of that that is finally like turning. So these are likely people or situations turning on these people. And they're now having to be like, wait, but hold on, I was, and like backpedaling, excuses, trying to keep the mob under control. They can't do that because they've done too much. It's too much that's coming back on them. They're at the 7 of Wands, the mob is at the 8. And they're going to keep coming. This is also that energetic like pulse, right? Because this is the time of judgment. And judgment, you know, we're talking about materiality right now. The people who have been affected by these people, who are maybe still in their lives, are making hard judgment calls on these people. And I'm hearing some are taking revenge. Oof, don't do that. If you're here, no, don't do that. All right, we're going again. On top of the 7 of Wands, we have the 5 of Cups. On top of the 8 of Wands is the Devil. I've got chills. Oh my God. On top of Judgment, the Hermit. Okay, so obviously it's all losses. There's now grief, what I've done. And I would say, obviously, right, love is still present. Love is always present, no matter what anyone has done, and I do mean anything. The victims of these people do not, like, it's beneficial to get into compassion with people, but if you're a victim, it's not necessarily your job, like, for them. Like, that's for you. For people who maybe they move into someone else's life, or people who are going to be reaching out to help these people, those are the people who are the love present for them, not the ones that they've harmed. And maybe now, you know, they're realizing. Some yes, some no. But this energetic consequence, Satan's running the show here. You know, Satan is a servant of God, and they do a lot of the dirty work. It is often thankless work, but it is necessary work. For these people, Satan is now in front of them. You don't want Satan in front of you, you want Satan behind you. When Satan is behind you, they are your advocate. They are your protector. They only start getting in front of you when you, in fact, get out of alignment. If you have Satan at your back, Satan's going to be your number one helper. For real. Because they'll whisper in your ear, don't go there, that one's one of mine. I'm in front of that one, and if you go there, I'll get in front of you. So Satan's running the show. This is also, of course, the result of their toxic behaviors, how they tried to manipulate people, bind them in fucked up situations. It's the result of very, very deep codependency, serious substance abuse issues. And what it is ultimately doing is isolating these people. It is hopefully, the intended result to that is not to, again, punish. It's to get you into a place where you have to do the self-reflection, where you have to see. But it is also isolation, not only for the protection of these people here, but also for the protection of the community, for the entire energetic system, because it simply cannot go on. Interesting, we have the Nine of Pentacles on top of this Seven of Wands and Five of Cups. Let me look at this in context. On top of the Devil, we have the Ten of Pentacles. We've gone from the 9 to the 10. Oh, okay. And on top of the Hermit, Death. This 9 and 10 of Pentacles, this is likely what has been lost, perhaps permanently, for these people. This stability, perhaps these were much more stable, healthy, positive figures in these people's lives, part of the community, part of their family, perhaps. These would be marriages, relationships, familial friend groups. Like, this is gone. This cannot stay with people like this. Either it will leave of its own accord, or these people will destroy it. It is a death to those two things. But what this also is for those who go into the isolation and get into that self-reflection, this death is also change, the death to the old self. Unfortunately, it is also actual death for some people. For those who continue, like this man here pleading, this pope, this old structure, this old system, but no, I'm the power. No, in fact, you're not. It's a new day. The times, they are a-changing, and you can be mowed down or you can get out of the way. On top of the 9 of Pentacles, we have the 3 of Wands. On top of the 10 of Pentacles, we have the 2 of Wands. What did I say? You are not the power here. Get out of the way or be mowed down. On top of Death, we have the stubborn, tyrannical, unyielding, arrogant, selfish Emperor. Oh, and there's the Hierophant at the bottom of the deck. These other people this stability, this community, both of these things are now at a distance from whoever these people are. These people embodying these energies, because this doesn't necessarily mean men. It's just any type of energy like that. Always my way. All the decisions I make are right. I don't give a shit about anybody else. I'm just gonna sit here and just be a nasty, unyielding little person. And all of you are beneath me. And I am stone cold about it. It's all at a distance from those energies. And it is likely to remain at a distance. These people also might be peeking in on you somehow through other people. If you're on social media, they're checking back to see, is the same thing happening to them? For some of the people that they know, maybe they're on the same timeline. I don't know. The Ten of Cups wanted to peek. What is on top of the Three of Wands is the Ace of Swords. Excalibur returns. I'm feeling positively about this. Ooh, we have Justice at the bottom of the deck, as well as the Hanged Man that is on top of the Tower. For the Ten of Cups that wanted to peak, for these past relationships that these people were just lunatics in. It is possible that for this, maybe even the majority of this collective going through this at this time, that in fact, they may, if they're grasping Excalibur, the Justice, the Enlightenment. I hope to, let's see that in the next two cards, right? Let's have that positive energy, because we don't want people getting here. What I'm seeing so far, let me pull this final card, and then we'll get into it. I don't know about that. We'll have to look at it. This is the final card. It's a little bit of an Yeah, okay. Yeah, at the bottom of the deck, this recovery period, I knew it would come out from this Ten of Swords, from this ending. Yeah, thinking about what they did, nasty stuff they did in these relationships that they had. Positively, it is likely truth will be seen and held on to. What these people are considering right now with this Two of Wands, peeking in on these past people maybe. People who they know they owe an apology. They are thinking about doing this, or they will be thinking about it, but at the moment, likely because they haven't gone through their full recovery yet, haven't really finished processing everything. They may be thinking about that, but they are also thinking about everything that they've done, and that they're not sure. They're not sure that this apology is going to be accepted. And so right now, it's almost, we've got sulking energy on this. We've got a bit of apathy, a bit of sulking, a bit of pessimism. Like, I know what I've done here. I know what I need to do, but the way that Emperor energy is still coming out is, I don't know that things are going to go my way. I don't want to do the right thing if it's not going to go my way. That needs to be let go of. Can't be there and have the full positivity. When you go to make amends with someone, the point is just to offer the apology and to be accountable. It is not, in fact, to win anyone back. It is to have the healing, and there is a chance that you can come into full reunion with people. But for some people, no, that's not the case. And it's not about getting what you want. It's about doing the right thing for everyone, the right thing for everyone involved, the healthiest thing. It's about doing it no matter if you get what you want or not. That is part of the lesson here. And I'm seeing this apology. on top of this Ace of Swords. Let's see. Because here's the thing. Regardless of if you like get your way or not, it's tentative, but likely incoming, right? We'll see with that last card. Even if you don't get your way, like let's say, you know, you stand up, you're accountable, you make the apology, and it's coming from a very genuine place. Let's say that person accepts your apology, but they're like, you know what, thank you for apologizing to me, thank you for telling me, thank you for doing this, but I really want nothing to do with you. I wish you all the best and happiness, but I do not want to be in your life. It doesn't matter, because just performing that action and accepting what that person is telling you, you are going to have other people. You are going to have other happiness. The point is just to get that lesson. The point is not to necessarily have everything back the way it was, because in fact, nothing can be back the way it was. That's a big part of the problem here. So understand that just setting yourself free is the biggest deal, because you can recreate happiness in another place. Just get out of that cycle. I'm seeing positive things here. We're going to go around one more time. We have High Priestess. This might be someone who gave them insight before, who they ignored, or this could be their own insight, what they've learned from all of this. And the Ace of Wands. Fresh energy, new magic, better magic, wiser magic. That looks positive to me for some of y'all, if you're going to be dealing with some past people during the next 3 years, right? Like this isn't happening next week. The King of Wands on top of this Page of Cups. Oh, what I just got from that is I know what I have to do. I'm getting good King of Wands energy from this. That's that fresh, that new magic, that good magic. And see his hand there, it's like a clenched fist, like that determined fist, right? I'm gonna do this. So far, positive. The right thing. While this is structure and often represents old structure, too much rigid structure, this is also by the book, by the law, if you want to get into spiritual law. I don't necessarily get with that. Law is very binding, right? We have a field of possibility here. The laws are really guidelines, okay? But there is a way, a particular way. Do it in the appropriate order. Yeah, I would expect it. I would expect it. You know, here's the thing. This might be small, but that's almost appropriate for the situation. But it's genuine, and it's solid, and it's come at a great cost for whoever it is that will be approaching you in this energy. I promise you, I think you probably know this would have been hard for them to get through and do, and this is something that will grow, okay? This is something fair. This is balanced as the result of this Tower. All right, so again, that does not mean you accept people back into your life permanently, but what I will tell you is what it's looking like for a lot of these energies that will be returning to you, at least for the apology, at least for the accountability, at least for that, it is genuine, solid, and true. And what I would say is, it is likely these people's intention they would like for you to accept them fully back, whether that be in friendship, as family, as partners. It is likely. And you'll feel it in the energy, okay? What I would say about that is if you make that decision, it may be slow, a process, but it is something that will grow, okay? It's not going to die off this time. One more on that. Yeah. I get y'all are guarded. Y'all are guarded. What about the Seven of Pentacles? Y'all are like, I don't know about that. Okay, it's like, all right. Go watch some more of like those karma reads that are nasty, okay? You can go back over there, okay? But what I'm telling you is, I'm asking about this Seven of Pentacles. It will grow. Whatever was not given, it will be given back in abundance if you allow whoever these people are the opportunity. That is their intention, at least. And I'm getting it's for a broad percentage of people that y'all have been dealing with. I'm going to claim that. I don't want to be wrong about it. You know, obviously use your discernment. Y'all have free will. It is the turn of the wheel, and it is likely a lot of people are going to be experiencing success. There's been a lot of maturity going down with these energies due to pain. It is likely they're going to be leading way more with their heart spaces, and they are looking for reunion. They are likely much more in emotionally available energy, and they are looking to nurture what they once destroyed in the past with their shitty magic that for some of them have put them close to their deathbed. Okay? So the angels do have a message for y'all. We're gonna pull best advice from these angels who are watching over you, protecting you, directing these things. And I'll have to get that demon deck, because demons actually do a lot of the same job. It's just very, very misunderstood with all of this, like, unfortunately, Christianity. But demons are a part of a healthy energetic ecosystem. It's the misalignment of those energies where things get to be a problem. And it's not really a problem. It's meant to get you back in place. So don't put yourself in a position where the harsher energies need to come through, right? The tough adjudicators, the light bearers. Because, I mean, don't get it wrong. Like, these angels as well, what you're calling an angel and a demon, it's the same energy at a different resonance, right? This is a higher, more ephemeral type thing. The demon is like the lower, denser energy. But both are performing the same role in tandem. They, in fact, work together. Oh, 4? We went 4. Who's at the bottom? Nelkael, the Hanged Man, Enlightenment, 2 and 1, 3, the only God. Some of these people had to learn that they're not God, okay? Desire for knowledge, protects from liars, evil, spells, and bad spirits. Knowledge. All right. What messages do we have? Well, y'all are going to have a choice. Wow. Wow. You have a choice before you with this Two of Swords. And this is the angel Aniel, God, Lord of all virtues. You're being advised to make the virtuous choice, of course, always, but I'm getting you are in a position to do that. You have 2 Excaliburs in your hand. But again, you can use those swords to behead or to point the way, right? Point the way. Breaking the circle lifts opposing barriers, brings victory. Once these people have their own Excalibur, That is when the barriers will be lifted for these energies to move through and do whatever it is that they're going to do. Until that point, the Two of Swords are crossed, right? But there are a lot of these people who are in fact breaking these cycles. Then the barrier will be lifted, there will be victory in some kind of way. But the choice will be yours ultimately. We have Mumia, death. 729, God, the end of the universe. Endings and rebirth influences health and longevity. Some people have been through some profound change and they want to carry that through to create that profound change with you. All right? We've got Metatron, the Wheel of Fortune, the recording angel. God sees everything. Everything, the turn of the wheel, karma, consequence, spiritual consequence. Advancement and progress teaches, guides, and records events in the book of life. Now listen, when y'all come to this crossroads, don't think you can't make a poor choice here. When someone comes to you in genuine humility after what they've done, and you make the spite choice, the revenge choice, God sees everything. Okay? Where do you want to be in the next 7 years? I think y'all are going to be okay. Maybe watch some more of those mean karma readings if you're not there yet, all right? We have Alemia, the Queen of Wands, number 4, stable. The hidden God, divine power, guards against mental troubles. Even though this is the Queen of Wands, I do get some like defensive energy from that. I think the message is being reinforced with, of course, protect yourself first, always. But as the Queen of Wands, you hold the divine power. You already have Excalibur, you've been having it. It is likely whatever decision you're going to make it with confidence, as long as it's not that revenge choice, right? You're not going to go wrong here, okay? So, those are the messages for today. That is what wanted to come out about karma. The forces are working, right? I don't know if you can hear all that construction going on. The forces are at work. Be patient. Continue on with whatever work that you're doing for yourself. And then see where the energies are if you do end up having that approach. From maybe some people who showed you their asses in the past.